So I'll do a bit of radio to start with. We are starting the second session of our pitch session. And trust me, if you've missed the first part, you've missed something. We had 10 teams pitching, actually nine teams pitching in the first session. And I'm super happy I'm not a judge, because it's going to be hard for them to pick the winners across those really great pitches we had. So let me give you a bit of background before we actually fully start that session. You are sitting in the World Bank Youth Innovation Challenges pitch event number 2, where we'll be seeing 10 more teams pitching their companies and pitching their solution in the third stage of an event, which started at COP28. So by the beginning of all of that, at COP28, there were 1,600 teams which were registered, coming from 95 countries, which give you a bit of an insight as to how universal that full story is, which then moved into an application stage where 300 teams applied from 63 countries, of which 40 got shortlisted, and those are the 40 which you will be super lucky to see pitching today and tomorrow. So we will have a series of teams pitching, but also some judges, and that's super important because the judges actually have 2 different roles in that story. The first is that, of course, they will be the ones deciding today who's going to be going to the next stage, but then also they will be the mentors of the selected 20 teams, which will be going through an acceleration program led by the World Bank and its partners over the next 6 months until October, when they will graduate from that, and I guess you will start to see some amazing impact out there in the field. So what will we be doing in this session? We will have 2 different parts. The first, once I'm done speaking, we'll have some pitches. So the pitches happen in the following way: 3 minutes of the entrepreneur actually presenting the solution, and then 7 minutes of a Q&A between the judges and the entrepreneur. And then we have, at the very end of all of that, a bit of a summary session where we can discuss a bit more in depth what we just experienced with the 10 pitches. You have also a role in all of that, because actually you are all blessed with a superpower, which is you can award a People Choices Award. That means at the very end of the session, you will be receiving in the chat a link and also seeing a way to connect to a Slido on the screen, and you will have the power to rank out of the 10 pitches your 3 favorite ones, and we will be able to crown a People Choice Award for that second session as well. So with all of that out of the way, I think we can maybe start doing radio and entering the age of video, if that is something which is within the power of the technical team. Not that I really want you to see my face, but because you will want to see the faces of the entrepreneurs, which will be pitching in just a jiffy. And we will be starting in just a second with the first team, which is Skik Tech. And I'm really sure I'm pronouncing that terribly, so please correct me. Just before you start the pitch, don't worry, I didn't start the timer yet. I will have to be a bit of the gatekeeper, so if you go too widely over the 3 allocated minutes, I will have to stop you. So if you see me waving, that's probably a sign that you should come to a conclusion. And then the same for the jury. They will have 7 minutes, and I will be the one to stop them. And maybe last element, and then I promise I stop talking. All of you have submitted elevator pitches which the jury has seen. So we already have a little bit of a feeling about what you do. And if you're super curious in the audience and you want to see those pitches, they're actually all in a big playlist on the YouTube channel of the youth employment group. So have a look there. It's amazing. And that being said, Tinai, correct me on the way to pronounce your name as well, and correct me on the way to say your company, and the scene is yours.
Thank you very much. So both were correct. It's actually Tinai, then our company is Skik Tech.
Awesome. Well, you have 3 minutes. Up to you.
Thank you very much. So imagine growing up in a country or a space where food security is something that you don't have to think about. A country where you are the breadbasket of the whole region. That's the narrative of the country where I come from, Zimbabwe. But unfortunately, this narrative has been changed by the changing weather and the changing climate conditions, which we are failing indeed to adapt to. And this has left 2.7 million people vulnerable to food insecurity and in need of food assistance. But ladies and gentlemen, the good news is that we have a solution that can bring active assistance to these communities in the form of grid box. A decentralized solar-powered smart grid that is assisting and helping farmers, smallholder farmers and communities across Zimbabwe. And currently, we are serving over 5,000 people by providing them with decentralized units of solar smart grids. Now, when I say decentralized solar units of smart grid, I mean that these are mobile solar-powered units that we are distributing across the communities and serving them with access to electricity. So the challenge at hand is not only of adaptation, but the challenge of cost. So for keeping up with these changing conditions, smallholder farmers are resorting to using diesel-powered solutions, which is an unfortunate situation because they cost 4 times more than the solution that we offer in the form of a solar smart grid. So that means that there's a market opportunity, a huge market opportunity for us, not only to provide the water that these smallholder farmers can use to increase their yields and food production, but also for us to sustainably grow our revenues. We are proud to say that the technology we're also implementing gives room for the implementation of edge artificial intelligence. And this has been supported by potential our partners, Qualcomm, who have seen an interest in the deployment of edge AI at the smart grid. And we've seen that our solution not only offers the way of extracting water from solar energy resources, but also a way of controlling the devices that run the solar energy units. So we've seen it's not enough to only extract water using solar energy devices, but also a way of managing the amount of water that is extracted from those devices. So that has also opened an opportunity for us to implement reinforcement learning with human feedback, whereby the localized models running on our smart grids can have access to controlling the variable speed drives that control the underground water resources to say where the water levels and the flow rate are convenient or are good enough for a yield, they'll be rewarded. And then where they are not, they are penalized for that. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thanks for the great pitch, Tinai. To the judges, I didn't give you the rule, which is for me to catch the best question straight hand. Just raise your hand and I will give you the microphone. So for now, I will have to pick someone, and I'll pick someone who's been trained in the previous sessions. So Namita, you go first.
Yeah, I was confused about unmuting. So thank you so much, Tinai. That was really fascinating. Could you just say a little bit about where you have you implemented this already, right? And what region have you implemented, and what has been the result?
Okay, so we've implemented this. We implemented it last year, late September in Manicaland, and currently we're serving over 5,000 people in that local community by providing them with access to water. Because our smart grid is capable of providing more than 15 million liters of water monthly to that community. So they had a deficit of water that we managed to meet with solar-powered solutions. The one that they were using currently at that place, it was a diesel-powered solution of generators, which was costing, I think, roughly around $5,000 per month. But then when we introduced our solution, it went way down to around $600 a month.
If you don't have a follow-up question, Namita, I will pick someone in the jury. Oriana, you go first.
Hi, that was a terrific presentation. So my question to you. So you mentioned that your cost reduction is from $5,000 to $600. So what are your biggest barriers to scale?
Okay, so the biggest barriers to scale, I would likely look at them more from a scouting perspective to say finding the best locations for the implementation of our product box that also has a return on investment. But we are kind of like working around that because we operate a smart grid. So that means not only do we provide electricity for water extraction, but we can also provide electricity for more use or even other productive uses. So to complement that challenge, we then create a circular solution whereby if the farmers have a yield that is good for their crops, then that electricity, if they are not irrigating the whole entire field, they are using the electricity for processing.
Just one quick follow-up. So is that a flat fee per month? 600
well,
for utilizing the electricity, or do they pay as they go?
Okay, so it's a pay as you go. The 600 was more of a cumulative figure. They pay as they go for the amounts of electricity that they want.
Thank you.
I think we have
Thank you very much.
a follow-up question from Yogita. You're next.
Thanks so much. Excellent presentation, and you've identified a very important problem that needs to be tackled. So well done on that. I wanted to ask what kind of research you've done on the use of solar grids in general in the agricultural sector in Africa or in general. There's been some movement in that space, and I was wondering what research you've done and how that influenced this approach.
Okay, so thank you very much. So we've done the approach that we've worked on is a more human-centered design process. So that means we've approached the community and had their feedback as part of our solution creation. So the research that we were doing in terms of the prototyping, from the prototyping, it was more of a technical implementation of our solution to see how much electricity can be generated from that region, which was also aided in advance by leveraging satellite technology and resources from the World Bank that projects the amount of energy capitalization that can be acquired in a certain space. So using all that data and then also getting on the ground to see the kind of infrastructure that they're currently using, the reserve tanks, the implementation strategies at that point, and then holistically putting all those things in perspective. And also we've been assisted by partners like the Milken Institute to do the work that we've done through a grant. So they've identified that area as an area that is a gap, because usually with water, there's a challenge of energy. The amount of energy required to extract that water is a challenge. But then when you solve the energy problem, it can provide a good solution for the community.
I have two questions from the jury, one from Mina.
Thank you, Tanay. Thank you for really walking us through kind of your thought process and research there. A quick question for you. As you've looked through the prototyping process and early implementation, according to you, what type of partnerships do you really need in the market? And from a lot of the audience that you're hearing and the people around here, what's going to really help you realize the vision that you have?
Okay, so thank you very much. I think first of all, we need partnerships, maybe from investors to fund the kind of work that we do and to deploy more units of Gridbox. Because when we did that prototyping phase in one community, 20 other communities wanted the same implementation of our product. Then also we would be looking at institutions, because we are trying to tackle this from a decentralized perspective, but also a centralized effort in terms of resource management. Because, for example, the cost for many farmers, let's say smallholder farmers, to acquire separate units of solar-powered solutions is very high. But then if we have partnerships with even our clients or our users to say, we can acquire these resources and then you can leverage on them from a centralized perspective and get the most out of it.
We're running out of time, but I would like to have 30 seconds to Florian for his question, and then I'll ask you to be short as well, Tina, if you can.
Yes,
Thank you very
definitely.
much for giving me the opportunity. And first of all, thank you very much for a great presentation, and congratulations to the impact that you already achieved. Can you talk a little bit about your team that you have behind you and how you're executing this?
Okay, so thank you very much. Personally, I hold a bachelor's degree in computer science. Then my co-founder, the CTO, he also holds the same. And we've received education and knowledge from Stanford University, with regards to entrepreneurship. Then we also have our mentors from Morocco who are in the energy, who are in the marine space and also energy. So they've got complementary skills with regards to energy systems and water systems.
Thanks a lot, Tinai. There's a pitch event, so there's something to win, but I think you mentioned as well that you would crave some help from investors. So if investors are watching this right now and would like to contact you, I think it's pretty easy to connect the dots. If you have trouble to connect the dots, just contact any of the organizers of the event. We're happy to connect for you. And for the People Trust Award, it's always the first who's coming up who is a bit disadvantaged because you have 9 other presentations to forget what he said. So just write the name down if in case you'd like to vote for him. And we move to the second team presenting, and that is Smart Water Management System. Who is the speaker? And if there's someone in the room from Smart Water Management System, the scene would be yours. If not, I'll suggest, if the next team is ready, that we have the next team instead. And the next team would be phytoremediation. So whoever comes first, Smart Water Management System or phytoremediation, has the scene open. Don't be shy. I look terrible, but I'm not that. That's horrible. Sufyan, welcome on scene.
Welcome. Thank you very much. Can you see me and hear me?
Yep, we see and hear you absolutely well. The scene is yours.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, can I start now?
Yep,
okay,
yep.
Can I start?
Yeah,
okay.
You can start. It's okay.
Yeah. My name is Sufyan Binyami. Hello, everyone. My name is Sufyan Binyami, and I am an final or graduate student of plant science from Ahmad Bello University, Zaria. There is a popular saying that water everywhere, but none is fit to be used. I come to realize this back then in 2020 when I visited some village within my community, and there is a lot of water, but those water are unfit. Yet local communities are depending on that water, and the water is highly polluted. They don't have choice, and they don't have technologies, or they don't have finance in order to treat those water. So I embarked on a personal research on how I can provide a more sustainable, adaptable, and cost-effective alternative sources of providing or of treating those water. This brought about my research on phytoremediation. I embarked on the research topic phytoremediation. Phytoremediation, it is a process whereby we use a plant-based or plants-based or plants in order to treat or to remedy a problem by providing a solution. My plant of interest then was Azolla pinnata, a macrophyte that is highly efficient and effective in treating water, most especially contaminated water that has been contaminated by heavy metals, pollutants, both organic and inorganic pollutants. From my work over there, physical work, I was able to use Azolla pinnata to treat almost 10,000 liters of water within the community, and it provides a 99.9% removal efficiency of contaminants within the water, and it made the water to be safe for use. My solution, phytoremediation, it is an alternative source, a more cost-effective, low-cost biotechnology solution in order to treat water waste or contaminated water within community. This phytoremediation solution, or Azolla pinnata in general, which is my plant of interest, plant of research, it is not only providing water treatment, because it can be used as alternative sources of feed for animals. This will encourage more aquaponic farming, and also it's a mosquito repellent. It's a plant that is having high efficient and effective. Actually, I would like to join this accelerator program in order to learn and relearn strategies and techniques and technology I can use in order to incorporate my research, phytoremediation, incorporating it with technology and other networking in order to advance this solution to help my community. Because I want to scale it up, I know that I am providing a local solution in order to tackle a global problem. So providing these alternative sources of water treatment, it is the most accessible and affordable, in a most affordable and accessible way, will help my community in order to make it more and more clearer in order to achieve good and affordable water. So I would like to join this accelerator in order to have that. And the impact of this research or my work in general is not to be overemphasized because it provides a more sustainable, adaptable, lifting many out of poverty line, yes, because it provides job opportunity. Also, due to the fact that Azolla Pinata can be used as alternative sources of many things. Actually, it provides job opportunity, provides clean and affordable water, treats water and disease that have been hampering the community, most especially due to the water waste, because they normally depend on the water and they don't have other alternatives rather than to drink, wash, and use the water for their daily life. But by the time this Azolla Pinata clean it up, it provides more safer water and more good water in order to drink. Thank you very much.
Sofiane, thanks for jumping in and to take the spot, which wasn't supposed to be yours, and to be super reactive. So thanks a lot for that, because you're saving us here a bit in the flow of events. Also, I'd try to introduce our judges as they're raising the questions. And I'm starting with Yogita. And maybe if I can just summarize it as you're from the World Bank, but maybe you can just, in one sentence, be a bit more precise than what I just said.
Yes, thank you. My name is Yogita Mamsen. I'm the manager of the Global Solutions Unit in the World Bank, which works across all regions and supports our operational teams who are based in the regions. So should I jump into my question?
Absolutely, yes.
Well, thank you, Sofiane. Very, very interesting and innovative approach. I guess my question is on the, and I'm not a biologist, botanist, the plant or technique you're suggesting, is that readily available? Is this, where is it available? What does it take to grow it if it has to be grown? And apologies if I'm completely not understanding given my limited natural science background. Thanks.
Yeah, actually, it's actually the solar specific. It's easy to be set of it. Actually, I have worked on it, like I said earlier, I've used to treat liters of water back then. So it has been, it is set up.
Sofiane, I'm sorry. I think you're cutting off in terms of internet, and I don't want you to get your message not gotten across. So what I would suggest is we can maybe move to the next team. I'll keep your question section, and we'll try again your internet connection in just after the next team. Just before that, let's do a second try at your answer, and let's see if maybe it was just that bad timing. So
maybe if you can try speaking closer to the mic, Sofiane, just move closer to the mic. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's better. Let's give it a try. Second try at your answer. I'm really sorry about the technical. You're not guilty by any means for the technical trouble.
Okay. Okay, let's give it a second.
Can you hear me this way?
Oh, that's very good. Yep.
This way. You can hear me better this way.
It's a little bit glitchy. Don't worry. You had 6 minutes left, and I won't give your 6 minutes to anyone else. So they are reserved for you. We will keep them, and I'll come back to you. Let's just give it the gods of internet a chance to align a bit better with you. I'm sorry about that. In the meantime, do we have the team of ONADIF in the chat, in which case I would invite them on stage. Abakar, you're the speaker for Onedif, I think. You have, as anyone else, the chance to correct me on the way to pronounce your company name.
Yeah, can you see me? Can you hear me?
You're on scene, and the scene is yours.
I don't know. Can you see me? It's okay.
You're there. You're there. You're there.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, I think I will remove that. So, thank you, Walter. Thank you, everyone, for having us here for this amazing opportunity. So, I'm Abakar Mamad. I'm the founder and the CEO of Onedif, which is a startup based here in Chad, Central Africa. So, let's dive to the problem. In Chad, we are 17 million inhabitants, and just 48% of the population have access to clean and drinking safe water. So this problem leads to a high rate death per year. Just last year, 50,000 Chadians have died from disease due to dirty water, included more than 2,000 children. And it's not just digits or stats. I was even impacted by this problem back in 2022, when I came back from a studio in Morocco. I had to come because my father has died. So we came and we went to the provinces where people are drinking water from wells and from rain sources. So as an engineer, I had to come with a solution that brings efficacy and effectiveness. So that's why we came with Onedif, which is a filter system that uses no electricity nor chemicals and can filter up to 1,000 liters per day and deliver it to 400 people. So the core technology we use is ultrafiltration membrane plates that I have here. The prototype is outside. I didn't have the opportunity to bring it here in the room because it's too big. I could bring the PC outside for you to see. So we are using membrane plate that use ultrafiltration, and the pore of these plates are like 10⁹ nanometers. It don't let bacteria, viruses, spaces. So we assemble this in 50 plates that we assemble it as a module, and that we insert in Onedif. And we also use this pipe to connect the whole system. So I hope that I will have the occasion to show the product. It's outside there. So that's the main core of Onedif. And we have already launched a pilot project with a NGO, which is local here. It's called Citoyens Sans Frontières. It's in French. So we have impacted more than 900 people already, and we are eager to promote our solution and have the opportunity to scale. So how our business model is working? For the moment, as beginning, we have two business models. Like we can sell the solution, which is expensive for people living for more with less than $3 a day. That's why we partner up with government and NGOs to support the project. Or we can go and install the filter as a community project. Like people will have just to pay like $2 per month annually. Per month during the year. Like for 100 people, we could bring back the expenses of the installation. So I hope that I have been very clear, and sorry for my English. I'm just a new speak English. I just learned English last year. So I hope that I was very clear, and I'm glad to welcome your question. Thank you.
Abakar, you were not only very clear, but you learned English last year and you speak like that. I'm so jealous.
Thank you. Because we speak here French and Arabic, so I
suggested in the previous session to have it in French, but the judges don't agree with me. So let's skip to English. And our first question comes from Joachil. You're from Estonia. Maybe the first time I give you the microphones, shortly introduce yourself and raise your question to Abakar.
Yes, hi both. Hi Abakar, I'm Jonquil from Eunomia, or Jonqui in French. but we're
hear
not
you.
doing this in French.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really excellent, outstandingly clear presentation, and I thought you highlighted the problem that Chad is facing really, really well.
Yeah.
What do you need? What is if you had the ask of one thing aside from money, what do you need to scale this into different communities beyond a system for 400 people? What do you see? How do you see this growing?
I see this growing very, very much. I don't want to be, I'm optimistic, but I see because the first time when we installed our solution, people from the neighbor village came to the village where we installed and said that they want this solution. So that's where we felt that we have the potential to scale. And this is not just a Chadian problem, it's an African problem, not to say a global problem. So we feel in the team that our solution have the potential to scale. And what we need for that is assistance, technical assistance. And because for the moment, for the plate that I showed you, we bring it from Germany. And with our partner in Germany, we are trying to find a solution to reduce our cost. Because, like I said, it's very expensive for people to buy the whole community filter. That's why we partner with people. So we would like to have technical assistance first, and then also mentorship, see how we can scale our solution perfectly.
Thank you very much.
I hope that. Thanks.
I have the next question from Wendy. It's the first time as well that you're speaking. So introduce your role at the World Bank maybe shortly. I think
we can hear you. I think the mic is muted.
Great. Okay. Sorry. Thank you so much, Abakar. Great to hear your story. I'm Wendy Teleki. I run the Women Entrepreneurs Finance Initiative, which is housed at the World Bank. And so we work with entrepreneurs around the world. And I wanted to understand a little bit on the technology side about issues around maintenance, installation, maintaining the technology. How easy or difficult is it to use and maintain? You said the panels come from Germany, so if it breaks, how does that work? And also, how do you see your team building your team? Do you have a team already? How do you expect to build the team? Thank you.
Thank you very much for this question. So our technology is very simple to use. Like I said, we have to build one ONED, we have to assemble 50 of these plates in one module that we insert in the recipient. We insert in the recipient and it's closed. No one have access to so it's safe. Now, we don't have maintenance to do when we install a solution. It can be like used even by illiterate people. So I don't know if I can show you the solution is outside. Maybe you could see how it's working. Okay. So
I just hope we have not killed your internet with that.
So it's very to use. You just have to. So the people in general for the maintenance, we just have to have a little sense to use the solution. Like you just have to pour the dirty water and have access to the clean water. So for the maintenance, it's very easy, and we don't have even cost for the maintenance, so it can be used by everyone. And for my team, for the moment, we are just two. There are just two of us, me and Tamnogras, which is she's responsible of the project management and also the communication, and we also the partner. So I'm the tech guy. So for the moment, we are just two of us, and we are looking for a sales manager for to have a more strong team.
I'm sorry, because we're running out of time. I won't be able to take Namita's question, and I won't be able to ask what's the jersey you have on the wall, which I've noticed from your elevator pitch. But you can answer me later. You don't have to do it right now. Thanks a lot for the pitch. And I propose that we try to have Sufyan back to raise him the questions. So David, if you can do some realization magic and bring Sufyan, thanks a lot. Sufyan, we'll give it another shot. I hope internet is with us. I'm really crossing my fingers. The question you got was coming from Yogita. So Yogita, can you maybe repeat your question?
Sure. My question was about the technology, and it was not exactly clear to me if it was a plant that need to be grown, what was the availability and accessibility of the technology itself.
Okay, thank you very much. I get it clear. I hope you can hear me well now. And
Perfect.
I'm sorry, I have to turn off the camera due to the network. So I have to turn off the camera. So about the technology, actually, we are using biotechnology solution. It is the Azolla pinnata, that is the mechanism it is using. And it is a plant. We took the spores, that is, let's just say the seed of the plant. We took it in order to plant it by spreading it on water. They are floatable. Then by the time they are growing, the more they are growing, they are absorbing every nutrient or every compound or element or nutrients, both inorganic and organic, from the water. They absorb it up. And one good thing about Azolla pinnata, that is the plant we are working on, or we work on, it is that it increased with its biomass within 2 days. It doubled its biomass within 2 days. That is, it's having high efficiency to absorb everything out from the water in order to filter it and make it more efficient and effective for using. I hope I answered the question, and thank you.
I think you answered it very good. You have one more question coming from Jean-Kil.
Yes. So just a follow-on question. Where does this plant grow? Or I understand it grows in the water, but where do you get it? Where do you get the spores from?
Okay, we got the spores from a natural habitat, that is a pond. And before we got it, we have to go to where water is not disturbed, because they normally proliferate in an environment that is not disturbed. So we get there and harvest them. By the time we harvest them, we tend to continue producing the life cycle. We don't need to go back to the pond and the environment. By the time we have the parent plant, that is the matured plant, they can continue providing the next generation. By providing the spores, we can easily spread it in the water. But at initial stage, we get it from its natural environment. With it, we go to a shallow water that is not disturbed. They grow well over there, and we identify the plant because it normally grow together with many plants. So, and it's very it's not that microscopic so much, but one can easily took it for mycelia and other aquatic plants like that. But we identify it and bring it out, make more production of the life cycle by keeping them in order to get the spores, and we get it set to filter water. Thank you.
Two short questions. Sorry, go on.
I'm so sorry. Just so I've just got a follow on. So it's basically like a yeast, is it? And does it grow locally in Nigeria, like the original spores?
No, actually, it's grows virtually in every ecological zone. Actually, so far the optimum temperature and optimum condition is being given, but actually it's normally grow within the environment that are having almost equal day length and night, and the temperature is not slightly above or below. So it cannot grow in an Antarctica, for example, where the polar region, where there is highly extreme weather, but it normally grows within this environment, most especially here in Africa.
Thank you. Fantastic.
Mina, please don't hate me for that, but I think I won't have time for two questions, so I'll have to pick just one, and I'll take Lauren. You're on my top of the list for the next one.
Great, thank you. Well, thank you for bringing forward a nature-based solution. I'm excited to hear the technology coming from nature. Real quick, so I guess there's a two-part question. How are you containing and I guess what is the retention mechanism to hold the Azolla and to get forward the treatment that you're seeking? And then the second part is what is your financial model?
So, okay, our financial model, actually, it is first the direct sale of the spores. For example, if you have a community that have a very polluted water, for example, they have a pond, a reservoir, we can easily treat the water by selling the spores for them. An individual can come and get that. Currently, we are planning in order to get a mobile app where we'll be tracking every aspect or every environment that are having a contaminated water. And through that, we can easily generate a commission and subscription model in order to be getting more revenue. Please, I don't get your first question well, if you can repeat it so that.
I think you're muted, Lauren.
How are you planning on containing the Azolla? Meaning, do you have to have a certain amount of time for the water to be with the plant? Or how are you, are you putting it in a pond? Is it in a tank? And then are you controlling the flow that goes through the vessel?
Okay. So actually, the plan or how we are containing the Azolla, it is first we spot an environment. By the time we have an environment, let's say, for example, we have a pond that need a treatment. What we do is that we put the spores over there in order to absorb every pollutant out of the water. That's first. And the secondly, for the Azolla, since it's producing, as in it's over within just 2 days, the Azolla can multiply its body mass weight. So the plan is that we harvest the Azolla for livestock because it is used as alternative feed for poultry and fishes. Actually, we harvest it for animals in order to eat them. So we tend to reduce the population, because by the time the Azolla become much on water again, it can become a problem by the time it cover up all the surface of water, which means aquatic organism will be having problem in terms of oxygen and light demand and the like. So we tend to harvest. It's just like a win-win process whereby you absorb the water and it use the water in the nutrient to grow itself, and we use the plant also to feed. So in general, Azolla pinnata, it is having both ecological and economical benefits. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Sufyan. Super happy that we could have the second part, because it would have really been a pity that we don't have the full story. Thanks a lot to Abakar as well, who was able to jump in and in between your two speeches to the two companies we just heard. We had Sufyan from Fito Remediation and we had Abakar from Onadiv. So make sure to remember the names for the People's Choice Award, and also if you want to look up a bit more what those companies do. In the meantime, if someone from Smart Water Management System is in the room, just shout at me and start interrupting me, because the spot is open to you whenever you're ready. If not, I'm not sure we have the speaker in the room either, but BES HydroChamp Revolutionizing Water Treatment would be the next on. So I'm told that the speaker might not be in the room. So if that's the case, that's a second person who has a reserved spot to drop in whenever you want. And I'll move to number 6 in our list for today, which is Hydro-Drip/Hydro Wallet. And if we have our speaker in the room, you can come on scene. Sammy. I can hear you. I can see you.
Can you hear me?
Yes. The scene is yours.
Yeah. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for all of you being here. So I am Sammy Tumba, so Mpungu. I do represent Hydro-Drip. So Hydro-Drip is developing the digital water credit platform. We call it Hydro Wallet. Basically, the idea is more to incentivize people to use water more efficiently. As you might know, inefficiency in water sector right now represent around 300 billion US dollar per year. So which is a huge amount of money that can solve a lot of problem in the sector that we're facing right now. So if you couple that to scarcity of water that comes with climate change and so on, you understand that we have a big problem right now that we have to solve. So we decided to create a kind of market where people be more eager or incentivized to use water more efficiently and to save the planet. So the market works as follows. So there will be excessive users. These will be a company or individuals that want to offset the water footprint. So there will be also efficient users, people that can reduce the amount of water through change of processes, or they will employ some technologies so that they can reduce the amount of water. So the people that using excessive water can offset the amount of water through the platform. So to do so, we developing right now an infrastructure that will support this kind of measurement. So we call it, like in a carbon credit area, we call it the digital MRV, which stands for digital measurement, reporting, and verification, where we're gonna install a IoT-based system that will track the amount of water that is being saved and translated into water credit. So furthermore, companies can be more interested into offsetting those water savings through our platform, so that they're accounted for their reporting in terms of those are very interested into water accounting and auditing as well. So the water technology, the market is basically to help people to acquire so technology that brings efficiency to the sector. That can be your flush toilet, that can be a faucet that uses a little water than the one that expected, and then you get rewarded for those kind of uptake, and also for best practices. So when you do some effort to reduce the amount of water, you can get this kind of earnings on our platform. So we're running 2 pilots right now. So we're going into pilot right now with the University of Johannesburg, where they've been very much interested into reducing the amount of water used in student residences and how that can create the impact for all the residences. So they represent around 50,000 university students, and they have around 10,000 in residences, which represents some millions of US dollar per year in terms of water usage. So they want to lower and to see how those kind of mechanisms can help them, as well as with Groundwater. So that the project there is non-revenue water, to see how the uptake of technologies that detect leakage and reduce the amount of leakage can help or drive basically the market in terms of water credit creation, and those people that can use that platform to offset their water usage. So this company can vary. They can be Coca-Cola, can be those companies that use a lot of water, where they can't change anything in terms of water quantity in their processes. So we can help them to do so on our platform. So we think this platform will be the future for technology adoption, as well as for driving water consumption down, so that we can mitigate the risk of water shortage. And South Africa is one of the countries that's trying to lead on that. And coming up with a positive behavior reinforcement, like incentivizing people, it's a it's something that we noticing as a first end to resolve this water problem. So thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Semi. Who wants to be first among the jury? I stopped you from asking a question before. Mina, of course, you're the first to ask a question now.
I figured I'll make it easier, Anton. So thank you for a really clearly articulated presentation, Sammy. Thank you. So my question is around, how are you thinking about the market when you're thinking about the future, mainly because there's so many solutions already out there that customers are already using for water reuse, water recycle, water measurement, usage. So are you thinking this about more residential? Are you thinking more from industrial? You mentioned Coca-Cola. So I'm curious about, are you thinking B2C, B2B, and how are you thinking about how you would be able to compete, HydroDrip would be able to compete with what's out there as a proven solution for reporting purposes?
So I think in terms of right now we're trying to build it for almost everyone, like the consumers or households as well as for businesses, because it's more on how you reduce your amount of usage and how you can report it on our platform. So right now we haven't got any with household yet, but there is a lot of demand in that sense. Right now we're going with B2B most of the time right now, but I don't see any constraint in terms of going to household. So now in terms of competing in terms of reporting, so we're not working on a reporting framework like your water accounting frameworks. So we just try to leverage them, they're reporting. So as we bring in some kind of digitalization to those kind of reporting, if we can just integrate some interesting IoT buzzword into that to help make reporting more, quick and easy for those who are doing those kind of reporting.
Any other question from the jury? Namita.
Okay. Oh, maybe Florian. I was just stepping in because there was no other hand, but now that I have the floor, I'm going to ask just two small questions. Sami, just building on what Mina was asking you, if you were to approach Coca-Cola, what would you say to them? What's the incentive for them to buy your system? Would you pitch it to the CSR side of Coca-Cola, or like why would they take it? And the second thing is, you said water saved. So are you saying what amount of water saved as compared to what this household or this company was using earlier? So is it like a saving over time over what was being used earlier? Let's say they adopt a flush toilet or some product like that, which means that means you would need to collect data over time, correct? Did I understand that correctly? Yeah.
Yeah. So you understand it very correctly. So it means the reason why the backbone, I said we're building up the infrastructures because we need those IoT or smart metering systems to send us data frequently in terms of interval, so that we can see the pattern in terms of water usage and see if there is any discrepancy that create a kind of water savings. That is the first to answer your question. So what was the other question, please?
No, just the incentive for Coca-Cola to buy your system.
So Coca-Cola, so from what I've seen, they're more interested into accessing water. Our people, rural area, they can access water, and then they do go and fund those kind of projects. So now the idea, for example, when you have 40% of leakage happening in Johannesburg, which is a metro area, so we're thinking, okay, cool, let's think about integrating a technology that will save this 40% of water leakage, and take those amount of that money that will save that technology, and then fund the water access project in rural area that will bring some kind of, you're reducing the amount of water here, and then you're trying to give it to people that lack access to it. So that's where we're thinking of it, and to see how that offsetting will help.
You might have to measure flow super accurately. Is that a good segue to give you the microphone, Florian?
Yes, it is. Thank you. Yeah, so Antoine is putting me on the spot here. My company makes measurement devices, very accurate measurement devices for water flow. And my question obviously is, how do you collect your data? Do you install your own sensors, or do you use existing sensors? How do you make sure that the right data finds its way onto your platform?
Yeah, so right now we did develop our full device, so which tracks the amount of water usage, and obviously we do on the sensor side, we try to make sure that we get the most accurate data with all the techniques that we can use, so that we make sure that it's very, very accurate. So we're building it ourselves, because being a small company, integrating the system with Sensis or these big providers is quite very difficult. So we did build it ourselves, but we do not intend to being only on our own hardware. I think it should be much more interesting for us to integrate with third-party hardwares as well, as we want to expand the solution.
We're unfortunately running out of time, but I guess you would have interesting conversations with several members of this jury. So I would advise you to have that conversation offline. If you want me to specifically point at the ones which actually raised your questions, that's a hint. Thanks a lot, Sami. I would suggest we go to the next team, which is the team from Water Data Bank, who's our speaker.
Hello.
On scene. Hello and welcome on scene. The scene is yours. And how do I pronounce your name? Ewebe?
Ewebe, perfect. Okay. So in a society where we are plagued with so many challenges, have you ever taken out time to ponder on the percentage of these challenges and crises that is caused or by water, or which are related to water, either exhibited in floods or in drought, causing so many people to leave their homes? Some are relocating to where they can actually get much. Some are relocating to where they feel it's safer because of flooding. So we are here as the Water Data Bank. The Water Data Bank is a project that has been designed to collect water analysis, take samples, analyze, and then produce reports that will guide stakeholders within the sector to be able to provide concise data that will help in decision making, because we understand that most of the pollution that is caused by investors has been triggered because there is no tracking. So how can we go ahead to solve the water problem without appropriate data? We need appropriate data. And so Water Data Bank, the project uses citizens, it uses younger generation students from the secondary school to collect information from these water resources. And then we analyze and then store in our Water Data Bank. It's an online system where stakeholders will be able to collect and then know how to invest in water. Also, it will help the government to be able to make better decisions concerning the water sector. As we already know, many other sectors are related to water, being it agriculture, industry. So they need this data to better plan. They need this data to know who to let into which region, given the magnicity of what resources are available. So we are citizen science centers, as I've said already. We use the community because it is their problem, it is their worry. We find most of the mining companies that exist in countries, they are based in local communities, drilling the area and polluting the water resources, and the communities are left to suffer. So let's take the case of the Democratic Republic of Congo, where we are presently felt, in the southeastern part of Congo at Likasi, where we have a mining company known as La Jicamine. They are highly engaged in the mining process, and the waters there are really polluted. So we carried out an analysis in 2022, and we found out how much that area has been polluted. And through corporate social responsibility, we were able to produce reports that we presented to this company, and they are engaging in the substitution of water sources, like the construction of solar panel water sources, so that in case of when the water is so polluted, those families, those households, they can get water from the taps and feed their families. So let's get this scenario, and we hope that through the mentorship of this program, our idea is going to develop more to scale to many other African countries, and also involve more communities to find solutions to their problems. Thank you, and over.
I think you have a first question from Yogita. Thank you for the great pitch.
Yes, very eloquent, great pitch indeed, and brave initiative on data gathering and monitoring, which we know can be very difficult because I guess my question relates to that. What do you see as the incentive for stakeholders to participate, and what kind of consultations or awareness are you thinking about to get them to participate in it? Because it will only be as good as the more people that participate. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on how you plan to roll that out. Thank you.
Hey, Ube, I think you muted yourself. Good, we can hear you.
Thank you very much for that question. So already I said our presence is felt in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So what we did to get into these communities is we did the participatory rural appraisal method, where we organized meetings with them, and then we gave them a scenario where take for 10, 20, 50 years, who used to know about the kind of resources, how rich our waters were. They give me the response. And they say, what do you think is causing this water to become polluted today? They give you themselves. They say it is because of this activity. And then you ask them, what do you think can be the solution? And then you start getting examples of the community members suggesting that, okay, someone traveled somewhere and then they found out that this was what was performed. And so they think. And then with that approach, we are able to tell them that, okay, this is what we have come up with. And we think that with this approach, the government and the investors will be held accountable, because we believe that a solution for the people can easily be heard by the government. So we told them that with this, we'll be able to gather data. And if you join us in this, it will be more effective, and you people will have substitute water sources. So that in case of dry season, when it is really polluted, you can also sort for this. And who will give you? The mining companies, they come, they take from you. What do they give you? So the people become, they become eager to be able to push, and they are out with us, and the village communities and the chiefs, they want to just engage. And we think we succeeded, like we are succeeding in that area. Thank you, and over.
Incredible passion in your answer. Love that. I think you have a question from Wendy.
Hello, Abube. Thank you so much for your comments and your work. It's amazing. Of course, sitting at the World Bank, we love the data elements, and we know how powerful data can be for advocacy. And so it's great to see the work that you're doing there. And I wanted to ask about the revenue model. I wasn't clear if this is a nonprofit, if you have funding sources for it, or if you see this as a business, and if so, who would be providing, who you would be selling the reports to, and yeah, just how you see this as being a sustainable and scalable model to work in other communities as well.
Okay, so for our data that will be tracked, we save it in our data bank, which is an online platform. And for you to access the data, you need to subscribe, you need to key in. So by the time we produce newsletters to inform the community that, oh, this is the rate of pollution, and then our engagement with other stakeholders like the investors, like the mining companies will be able to tell us that through your approach, tell the community that inform the community that in the next 2 weeks, we'll be releasing some kind of sewage or some kind of waste into the water, so they shouldn't fetch water. And then we are the ones to inform the community through newsletters. And now when we collect data on the level of pollution and also the changes, we're able to store in our data bank. Now we'll get incentives to whoever wants to access that data bank, being it researchers, being it the government, being it the mining companies, and many other stakeholders, maybe fishery companies who want to invest probably in the Democratic Republic of Congo in the southeastern part. They want to know what resource has been exploited in terms of water, what is available. They need access from us. So we'll get incentives, which is what we are still working on. And we hope on the mentoring session to help us on that. Thank you.
I think I don't see raised hands from the jury, but in the previous pitch, Oriana, you wanted to raise a question and I couldn't get to you. So maybe you want to raise a question here. If not, I won't force you either.
Sure. Thank you for that. And I love the enthusiasm and the passion that you have for this. So I guess my question to you would be, so you have a terrific example on how you've engaged with the mining company and being a communication buffer between the company and the community. So what other forms of data collection have you engaged in? So are there And what metrics specifically are you embedding into your database of information? So into the data bank, are you talking about volume, pollutant concentration, as well as what the company is doing from an operations perspective? Or I guess, could you give a little bit more information about what kind of data you make available?
Okay, so we are also engaged. Thank you for your question. We are also engaged in gathering data from the community through surveys. So we go into families and then we analyze how much they spend in boiling water. So an average household in the Democratic Republic of Congo is seven members for that household. So how much is a kilogram of charcoal, which they use to boil water to purify it before they are able to drink? And so we take all those samples, we are able to analyze, and then the result, it shows that it is economically costly for an average family because they live in less than $1 per person per household. So we take the same information, we add to our data, that if we provide it to the government, we have a stronger backing, and the government can hold the investors accountable for having the negative impact felt by the community in different areas. And so it makes our quest for data by the investors even more, and also the government backing, which makes it more sellable, like we can easily transfer the knowledge, and the communities too on our side, because they don't have the money to even spend. And most of them end up drinking the water because the charcoal is not there. Now, have we thought of the environmental impacts, the effect on the trees that they fell just to acquire the charcoal? So all this information is what we get and add up to our data back to make it more rich and more demanding. Thank you, and over.
Thanks a lot, Ewube. Thanks a lot for your passion. That's really communicative. Again, I'm not the jury, but to me, it's super, super, super refreshing to have this kind of energy. So thanks a lot for that. And I propose to switch back to the team, which was supposed to be just before you. So the team of BES HydroChamp, revolutionizing water treatment. I think we have the speaker now in the room. You might be slightly stressed because there was a bit of a mismatch in the joining and all that. So take your time, come on stage, and the scene is yours whenever you're ready. Hi, Prome.
Hello, am I audible?
You are audible, you are visible, and the scene is yours.
Okay. So I'm Prome from the team HydroChamp. We have a groundbreaking solution, innovative solution to revolutionize the water system in Bangladesh using biochemical technology to address the issue of contaminated drinking water. As we know, like 20 million people in Bangladesh lack access to safe drinking water, and which causes the widespread of health issues and economical imbalance. And there are it's a very huge issue, the water contamination. And as a concerned citizen of this country, I myself have experienced insufficiency of water and the struggles. I have been through the struggles myself. Like times when we didn't have the access to tap water in our area, we didn't have the access to drinking water, and there was water anywhere around us. We had to buy water for overpriced and from markets around us, and it was such a very big issue and struggle. So, so our solution is a promising solution that revolutionized the water. Sorry, I'm kind of nervous right now because I was late. So,
Don't worry, really don't worry. It's a safe place, and we're really happy that you could make it. So take your time, and just explain us your solution.
Okay, so we have since we have water in our regulator, so
Promise, sorry, I really don't want to stress you. I think we're losing you in terms of sound. Like you're super, super low. Do you have any ways to push it up? Is there any, maybe on your device, just something which you can push up or push down? I don't know, but you went suddenly down. I really don't want to stress you. Sorry. I can read your lips, but I cannot hear you. And I'm super bad at reading lips. So I would not do you a favor if I start reading your lips. Promi, what I would suggest, can we try maybe without the camera? Maybe that will solve it. Yeah, so I'm sorry, we hear you from very distant. That wasn't the camera, the trouble. We'll maybe check on your computer if there's something which you can push up. What I would suggest, don't worry, it's all good, Promi. I know it was stressful. You had to jump in unexpectedly at a time which was not what you scheduled. Your spot is saved. We will come back to you. Take a bit of time. Check just your device if you can push up the sound. And in the meantime, I would suggest that we move to... I'm a bit lost. Boniface, I see you in the chat mentioning that you have limited internet and you should go live now, but I'm not sure to which team you belong. So I would be super happy to have you on stage right now and to take you. And just introduce yourself and mention the company you're on, and then I'll take it from there. I'm sorry, but it's the beauty of being live. It's that we have this kind of things happening from time to time. Boniface, the scene is yours. Just introduce your team, and then we can start.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. As you said, my name's Boniface Senyumva. Yeah, I'm part of a smart water management system team. Yeah, so yeah, starting our project is to work on a smart water device that can help people to have a full access on water kiosk in Rwanda. So initially in Rwanda, we didn't have water across the community because when I grew up, we used to go to fetch water in the swamps. But later on, the government has introduced water stations across the community where people can have access to clean water. But to get water, you have to do some small payment. So the water kiosk, they open 3 times a day, early in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. And a total of 3 hours a day, that's when they open the water kiosk. And it's a very short time because many people in Rwanda, they don't have water in their homes. So most of the people, they go to fetch water in those water kiosks. And there's always very long queues. Because I remember when I was in primary and junior high school, I used to go to school late just because I have been waiting to get served water at water stations. So reaching in the university, me and my friend, we came up with an idea of creating a system that can help people to have a full access on water kiosk by paying using smart cards. So we worked on that project as our capstone, and then we're able to test to see the functionality of the system. So the system, how it works is you just have to have some water credit on your card, and then we installed a system on the water kiosk where you can go and scan and enter the number of liters of water you are looking for, and then after scanning for payment, you just get the water. So the idea is to help people to have full access on water kiosk, to help children who spend much time on the water kiosk queues waiting to get water, to have water anytime they want so that they cannot miss their school. Also to help the farmers who go to cultivate in their gardens early in the morning to have access to water kiosk anytime they want, not necessarily attending to water kiosk in those provided hours, as I said earlier, like the morning, afternoon, and the evening. So that's where the idea came, because yeah, we found that people waste much time waiting for water at water kiosk, and it's very sad seeing a kid missing school or going to school late just because she didn't get access to water at the right time. So that's where the idea came. And for now, we have tested our system. It's working clearly, but the challenge we are having now is the funds to start implementing the project across the different water stations. So basically that's where we are for our project. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Again, you're from the team, which was our second in the list of smart water management systems. From the jury, who would like to go first? John Kill, the scene is yours. You're muted. Sorry.
Sorry, what a brilliant presentation and a brilliant innovation. I really loved it, and you explained it really, really clearly. How easy is it in Rwanda to load smart cards with money, so digital banking? How easy is that?
Yeah, I think it's very easy because there's also another system which we use for paying for bus station. Like when you are going for a trip, you have to scan. Like it's kind of mandatory in Kigali, where you have to have that card. You roll some credits and then scan for payment for your travel. So it's very easy. What we want is just to speak to those people who have that kind of similar system to know how we can navigate and implement it also in our system. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else in the jury? Oriana Furey, the first one to speak, has the microphone.
That's me. Hi.
Florian.
Thank you very much for a great presentation. I visited Kigali last year, in know your country. So maybe you can talk a little bit about alternative solutions that are currently in place for this. Are you alone on this market, or do you already see some companies doing something similar?
I would say that the company that is doing something kind of similar is the company that is doing transport in Kigali. For the side of water, there's no any other company as far as I know.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Oriana?
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I think the question I had is just touching on the last point that you made, which was your challenge for scaling. If I understood you correctly, you've been able to demonstrate that it shortens the queue and you're able to integrate and there's a desire for it. But if I understood correctly, you also have to negotiate with each specific water dispenser or your area that is dispensing water. Can you talk a little bit more about that challenge and what help you need to overcome that?
Yeah, so as I said, that's part of the challenges we have. And currently, we want to speak to the water providers, especially to the ministry in charge of water distribution in the country, because they are the ones who are in charge of all the water stations in the country. So I hope that after speaking to them, we have a clear vision of how we can implement the project and start working in the different communities. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for the great pitch. Again, if you're taking notes at home and you want to know for who to vote, that was team number 2, Smart Water Management Systems. And I'll thank you with that, Boniface. We'll try to move back to Prame. So Prame was the speaker for BES HydroChamp, Revolutionizing Water Treatment. If in between you've solved your sounds, we were left at, you had exposed the problem and you were just about to start explaining the solution. And that's where I would love to take it. If that technically is feasible.
Hello? Is this okay now?
done.
I just switched back to another device, but I haven't, I haven't fixed my video issues. I will take a little more time. But can I just speak for now?
Yes, you can go on. Yeah.
So I think I stopped how it's okay. So the first so I was about to explain our solution and how it works. So bioelectrochemical technology is cost effective and it's environmental friendly, and it's effective in removing heavy metals and pathogens, and that will help removing and working with the microbials and the stuff like this in our water system, which is mostly polluted. And unlike other conventional water treatments method, our solution operates using simple system that can be implemented even in remote areas. That's why it's different from the ones that already exist, the system that already exists and work in our country. So by harnessing natural processes, and we minimize the use of chemical and energy, which reduces our carbon footprint. So now let's talk about how this technology can specifically benefit our country, Bangladesh. So this can be done by settling up decentralized treatment systems in rural areas and integrating them with existing infrastructure in urban centers. So doing so will improve public health outcomes and drive socioeconomic development in our country. So for now, join us in providing clean water for it, and if you guys support, that will help help save a lot of lives. So yeah, it's my pitch for now.
Rami, can I use that stage to do like a super short interview from you, because I'd like to have a bit more details. You say natural processes and less chemicals. Can you just explain us how your technology works in just 1 minute?
Okay. So my technology involves microbial in electron transfer and electrochemical transformation for achieving sustainable energy and carbon neutrality. So fundamentals of this technology are generally described as systems that imply electrode reactions by using microorganisms as biocatalyst. So they merge microbial and electrochemical processes to produce bioelectricity and hydrogen or other valuable chemicals. So the system is comprised of like two electrodes as anode and cathode linked to each other. So by using an external conductive wire for completing an electric circuit. So that's how the process works.
Awesome.
Is that
Thanks
what
a lot. That was exactly what I was asking, and it's super clear with your explanation. Thanks a lot. I don't see raised hands, but I'm going to designate someone because I think that's right. And actually, you raised your hands at that exact time. Oriana, I think you're the person to be the first to raise a question here.
Well, thank you so much. It's terrific to meet you and learn that you're working on microbial fuel cells and bioelectric chemical systems. Just as a little background, so AquaCycle commercialized bioelectric chemical systems here in the US for industrial applications. So I'd love to learn a little bit more about where you are in your development process and where you're meeting challenges that potentially we could help with.
Can you repeat the last line? I couldn't hear that.
Where are you in your development stage, and what challenges are you facing where you could use some help?
Yeah, I would like to give a little intro about my team members and how I managed to create the team. We are actually high school students and we haven't worked in the water sector. We met in a community back a few months ago, where me and my team members joined, and we plan to work for water and towards the issue, because it's really a big issue, and we have personally have a bad experience with this issue as a citizen. So we were concerned, and we wanted to team up to do something that will continue to solve this issue. And since this technology, like bioelectrochemical technology, is not available and
that has not been implemented in our country before. We are trying to implement it for the first time in my country, and it hasn't been in here before, and we are still researching on this. We haven't implemented or started the process, and we didn't start a funding or costing, and we just still researching on it. We're studying the whole situation and process and marketing trends and everything. So it's still under process and studying.
Well, I would just take a bet that just in case you get selected, I think you found your mentor. But yeah. Anyone else in the jury who wants to raise a question? I would take the time for one more. Amina, up to you.
Yeah, no, I was following in footsteps of Oriana, just in terms of, well, you know, it's a much needed solution and a very deeply technical problem. And I don't know if you're aware, Pram, but Kitos, I'm Mina Sankran, founder and CEO of Kitos, and Kitos actually focuses on developing the sensor systems for, you know, essentially doing real-time water intelligence, a lot of which that you described, we're not there in Africa yet, but happy to help you as you start going through understanding the effectiveness of what you've developed, to know the pre and the post cycle of the actual testing. And it applies to even the phyto remediation team, because understanding effectiveness is a very critical issue around the water quality. So since you're kind of still in the research phase, I would put some time into also looking at the effectiveness and comparing that with data validation as you go through your research cycle, because that could probably eliminate a lot of the false positives that you run into.
So I think we're in a difficult situation, because if you get selected, you will have 2 mentors, but I think that's a good problem to have. Promi, I'm super happy that we managed to make that work. It would have been a pity not to have you pitch in the session. So thanks for overcoming the technical difficulties. And we have 3 teams left. I have to warn everybody in the chat that we are slightly running late. I'm sorry, I'm the one guilty. I'm the one which is supposed to not rant like I'm doing now and manage the time. But I think we have 3 amazing teams, and I won't be stressing them on time. So expect us to end the session like 10 or 15 minutes late. And that said, the next team on scene is Omnitech Rano Devices. Do we have the speaker in the room? In which case, I will leave the floor and let the speaker speak. Mirana, you're the speaker for... correct me, please, on the way to pronounce your company name, and the scene is yours.
Yes, thank you for the floor. My name is Mirana, and I'm the project manager of Omnitech. Today, I'm super glad to tell you that next year we will be able to change the life of 450 pupils by installing our Rano hygiene devices in 3 schools. We combine low and high-tech devices to ensure that every child have access to water for their daily needs in schools. First, for the low-tech part, we use wind and solar heat energy to pump and to boil water. The harmless bacteria and microbes will be eliminated, making it safe to drink. After, we strategically place our hand washing devices in the entrance of cafeteria or near restroom exits. These devices are designed to teach pupils a good hand washing habit. They have sensors to know when someone is there. They turn on automatically, and they show a fun cartoon video that will teach the right way to wash hands. The water that have been used for the hand washing will be purified and recycled for other purposes, such as cleaning the classrooms or the blackboards. Now, during the implementation in schools, we provide training sessions where pupils participate in assembling the devices. After, we talk to them about why it's important to use water carefully and to preserve our environment. Our team ensured the design of the 3 devices thanks to our complementary skills. First, the technical part can be divided into 2. The various filters and the pump For that, we have 3 specialists in embedded, electronical, and mechanical systems. Then for the educational device, we have a developer and an UX UI designer. And for the marketing and management part, they have myself. Now, why we add all these modern technologies to the traditional hygiene facilities? That's because they are no longer effective today. We must innovate our way to use and to preserve our resources to face today's challenge, and we must make that learn from the next generation. So I'll end my pitch with that, and thank you for the floor.
Thank you for the very, very great pitch. Who wants to go first? I think, Lauren, we haven't heard you in a while, and I feel like I missed you a bit in a corner, and really sorry for that. If you have a question for Mirana, that would be the right point in time.
Sure, I'll jump in. Thank you so much for that presentation and a very important topic. I guess, how are you planning on selling your I guess services or products, and projections for growth?
Sorry, I didn't hear the way on our selling. Oh, I didn't hear that way. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just what is your sales model and projections for growth?
Yes. We collaborate with NGOs or international organization or association or foundation to fund the cost price of the devices. So it will be a B2B thing, and we plan to, like, for example, now we have a partnership with a foundation sorry, I have a very bad English, so I'm searching for my word.
Take your time. If that's bad English, then you're good. You're good.
Yeah, we collaborate with a foundation to install our devices in free school for this year and the next year. So we plan to install our devices on rural areas that are mostly suffering for lack of water, and that's our objective. And for the 3 or 5 years, we plan to go through Africa and the Indian Ocean. Yes.
I think we have a question from Florian for you.
Hey, Mirana. Thank you very much for your presentation. I really like your approach and the combination of low tech and high tech. Just to be clear, so I understand your system, is this a closed water system? So you're reusing the water, or how does it work?
Yes, it's a closed water system. Like the water that have been used will be reused, so we minimize waste in the establishment.
And which sensor you were talking about a sensor technology that is also detecting when somebody approaches the product installation. What type of sensor are you using there?
I don't know if I'm saying it well, but it's a movement sensor that will know if someone is moving near the device.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I answered it well.
Yeah, no, very good. Very well done. Very interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Maybe a last question from the jury? Namita, I feel like you haven't...
Sorry. I forgot something. About the sensor, we also use data tracking to know the efficiency of the devices. So we know exactly how many water the applicants have drank during the day, or how many times the hand washing device have worked, and how many water have been recycled. So just a little bit precision about the tracking too. Yes.
Well, that was a good precision. I think that makes a good way to round off that pitch. Thanks a lot, Mirana. And I propose that we move on to our next pitch. And that is our second last pitch from Waterwise. I hope I'm pronouncing that remotely right, water-wise.
Yes, sir. You're absolutely correct. I hope
Then
I'm audible.
you're visible, audible. Can you shortly introduce yourself, and then the scene is yours?
All right. Yeah. So, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Niket Agarwal, sophomore at Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, and I'm reporting live from India. So, I'll start with my pitch now. So, as a child, I have spent a lot of time in villages, as many of my extended family members were farmers, and I have fond memories of in my childhood. And I grew up with the image of a happy farmer in my mind. But it is only much later that I would figure out that happy farmer was actually an oxymoron. Why do I say that? In India, roughly 260 million farmers live in abject poverty. It is indeed an irony that the person who toils day and night to feed us often goes to bed hungry. Nearly 30 farmers die by suicide every day. And there are two main reasons for the staggering issue. Firstly, the poor quality of land, because of which the productivity falls a lot. And secondly, the dependence on rainfall as the only source of irrigation. So, in case there is unseasonal rainfall or there's no rainfall at all, the entire harvest gets destroyed, leading to heavy losses to the already debt-ridden farmer. So we thought, how about growing crops in a way that the farmer is not dependent on land and the vagaries of rainfall? And this harvest could be made more predictable. That is exactly what WaterWise does. We grow food on a farm that can be set up anywhere, even on wasteland. We don't need fertile land at all. And our crops do not depend on rain. Our farms run on aquaponics. It is a closed loop cycle and uses only 5% of the water that traditional agriculture uses. We want to make our farms autonomous as well, so that we don't need very highly skilled people to run the farms. And we plan on using agile methods and artificial intelligence so that our farm output becomes much more predictable. So what's our goal now? We want to create an agri-business that is scalable and sustainable. And we will set up and manage 18,000 farms controlled centrally, somewhat like how Uber manages thousands of taxis. And what does this mean for the farmer? The farmer will get a predetermined fair price for the farm produce. They will be assured of adequate incomes since we will have a direct to consumer business model, and they will be assured of more predictable incomes as the vagaries of nature will not impact the harvest. And what does this mean for the consumer? The consumer gets 100% organic vegetables free from harmful and toxic chemical fertilizers and pesticides, encouraging conscious consumption that will lead to better health for the communities. So we will also create a lot of impact via this model. We will align with 11 out of 17 SDGs, and we'll actually be waste negative and carbon negative. We will create greener cities, and we'll prevent degradation of land and create sustainable communities. In terms of job creation, we will create 18,000 entrepreneurs and over 2 lakh jobs to run the farms. How will WaterWise address the issue of 2 liter water? And that is what we come to finally, right? So WaterWise will save 1 million tons of water annually for every 1 million square feet of area under cultivation, which is enough to meet the annual drinking water requirements of 1 million people. Thank you.
Thank you for the awesome pitch. Who wants to go first? Namita, I feel like I haven't given you the spot for a while, so I would suggest, and then Oriana can take the next seat.
Thank you. I was trying to give a chance because I felt like I was getting so excited about every pitch that I heard that I was jumping in. But this is really fantastic. Very nice to hear about your initiative. It minimizes the use of water, but also it kind of improves the quality of food. So I had two questions. How will you, because when it comes to organic food, how would you take care of the certification process? Because the consumer who's wants to know that this food that is actually certified organic.
Yes.
And the second thing is, while you will bring in AI to talk about predictability of demand, how will you solve the logistics problem of transporting the food from farmer to the consumer? Who will do that?
Yes, ma'am. So coming to the first question, so the scale at which we are planning to operate, this is something obviously we can't do just as a private entity on our own, right? So we'll have to partner with the government eventually, because we will set up state level centers, will have center level centers, and it will be a top to bottom model in that way, right? So of course, government will be involved in this, and we hope that the government will also help us with the certification process. Coming to the second question, so as I mentioned earlier, we are planning to have a D2C model. So the food goes directly from the farm to the plates of the consumer. One of the reasons we are doing this is because in traditional agriculture methods, in India, there are many middlemen involved who keep taking chunks of the profit out, which leaves a very low margin for the farmers. So we will totally eliminate that. And we'll have partners who help us with the logistics. We will have runners for farms, and each farm would only kind of take care of its local catchment area. So the logistics should not really be a very big problem. Again, somewhat similar to how an Uber works, right? So we connect the consumer to the farmer, and the consumer will be somewhere close to the farmhouse. And so it's just that small distance that the delivery needs to take place. I hope that answers the question.
I would think it does, right?
Thank you.
Oriana, you're next.
Thank you very much. Great pitch. It's what I'd like to understand a little bit more, and I'm sorry if I missed it, would be your specific business model in terms of how you're delivering the aquaponic farmer, how they can access the technology. And then the second question would be, where are you at in the prototyping or in the delivery of the farming device itself?
All right. So I'll address the first question. So the business model will be similar to how an Uber works, right? So we will have people who will come and set up the farms, and we'll help them with getting loans, because it does require initial capex, right? But after that, it is a very profitable business. We have crunched all the numbers. So we'll help the entrepreneurs with the initial capex. After that, we will have a platform. It will be a network-based model, a platform, and we will connect the consumer with the farms in their local area. So if a consumer, let's say, wants some grams of kale, we will report that to the local farm, and the local farm will harvest it on the same day and deliver it to the customer. So that's how it will work. How we will make money here would be based on a revenue sharing model. So we will have a revenue sharing model with the farm owner, and that's how we plan on making money. Is there anything else you would like to know for the first question? Yeah. For the second question.
Oh, sorry, please.
So currently we have one model farm, which is around 2,000 square feet. And we have started, so it's completely run on aquaponics, and we have started automating it. So it takes time because we can only do it step by step. So right now we have automated the temperature aspect of the farm, because every plant grows best in a given temperature range. So we have temperature sensors all over the farm. And the moment the temperature crosses a given threshold value, we have foggers installed all over the farm, which get turned on, and they cool down the farm to bring the temperature back within the range favorable for the farm.
If we go super fast, we have a little bit of time for one more question from Wendy.
Thank you. I hope this is a quick question, but I wanted to understand the physical, like the capital investment that's required for each farm. What does the equipment look like? And so how much does each farmer need to invest in the equipment and then the upkeep of the equipment?
Yeah, so the initial capex is very flexible. It is because the farm size itself is flexible. You can have huge farms run by capitalists. At the same time, you can also have smaller farms run by individuals in villages. You can have farms set up on rooftops, right? So it is very flexible. And so the farm that I own, for example, it's a 2,000 square feet farm, and we had a capex of around 5 lakh rupees for that. We plan on reaching a complete break even by the second year. In 6 months, we reached operational break even. So yeah, that's for the first part. And could you please repeat the second part of the question?
What the startup costs would be for the entrepreneur, so what their capital expenditure would be.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, the expenditure would be, it's flexible, and for 2,000 square feet, I gave an example, it's 5 lakh. You also mentioned about how much someone would have to spend on the upkeep of the technology, right? So I don't have very solid data on that yet, because we are still at early stages of the technology integration on our farm. But I believe that we would have a support system for the farms, wherein people from our team will come and help them with all their technology maintenance issues.
I'm sorry, I will have to cut you here. I think you would have more questions and more discussions with the jury, so that's good. We can have that offline. We have one more team in this live, which has to present, and that's the team of BioGreen Technology Limited. So while our speaker comes on scene, that's for me the moment to tell you that from now on, you can start voting for your favorite pitch out of the 10 you've seen. So you take your 3 favorite ones. The link is in the chat, so wherever you're watching this right now. So have a look there, and don't worry, you'll have a bit more time at the end to use your voting rights and to pick your People Choice Award. And that being said, the scene is yours. Please introduce yourself and tell us about your company. I think we hear you from slightly wide away. So if you can just raise your sound, or let's give it a try. It is distant.
Are you able to hear me better now?
That is much better. That is much better.
Yes. Hello, my name is Lisa, and I am from BioGreen Technology in Zambia. Now, I'm sure you all love fish. Well, I know I love fish, and I know my Zambians love fish, because fish make up approximately 50% of our total protein intake as a country. But unfortunately, over the last couple of years, Zambia has been importing fish due to a population increase and also instabilities in the aquaculture sector. Fish well over $50 million annually. And I'm sure you know, for a developing nation, this is very unsustainable. That is why we have developed our company, which we call BioGreen Technology. BioGreen Technology offers online extension services to fish farmers jotted around the country. In Zambia, a country that is currently grappling with a fish deficit, and we're currently relying on imports to meet the demand, we have developed and provisionally patented a smart system device which utilizes IoT, which we call Phoebe Smart System. Phoebe has been equipped with sensors such as dissolved oxygen sensors, salinity sensors, and turbidity sensors. Phoebe, once inserted in the water, relays data to the cloud and then relays data to a fish farmer's mobile phone. This data enables fish farmers to make informed and reliant provisions on their fish farm through this data that they'll be receiving on their fish farm for their water. So Phoebe will enable, which is provisionally patented and has been developed in-house by our team, enables fish farmers and also empowers fish farmers to ensure that their fish stock is in good condition, and also ensures that they have a reduction in their fish mortality. Our provisionally patented technology, like I said, developed in-house by our dedicated team, empowers fish farmers to monitor their water quality remotely through their mobile phone, and also enables early detection of contamination, and also reduces fish mortality rates significantly. What exactly puts our technology apart? Well, we believe that it unlocks a new era of prosperity for the Zambian aquaculture sector by equipping fish farmers with the tools that they need to safeguard the health of their stock and maximize their yields. Our Phoebe Smart Systems has the power to not only bridge the fish deficit, but also position Zambia as a leader in sustainable aquaculture practices. Now, I would like you to imagine a future where my country, Zambia, no longer relies on imports to meet its fish demand. A future where our local fish farmers thrive, contributing to food security and economic growth. This is the future that BioBeam technology would like to promise and deliver to our people. With our groundbreaking innovation, we're not just building a better tomorrow for the Zambian aquaculture industry, but also for Sub-Saharan Africa. So through our innovation, we're also paving a way for a more reliant and sustainable future for generations to come. So we are currently, our devices is being supported by the government. We are currently working with the University of Zambia, which is attached to the computer science department, where we are building our prototype. Our prototype has been built, and we're currently also working with the Ministry of Livestock and Fishery, where we are conducting our device research because it's a new device on the market.
Thanks a lot for your pitch. That was an interesting dive into. You asked if we knew that 50% of your intake comes from food, from fish. I can answer you. I didn't know that, so at least I already learned that, and then a lot more. But I guess our jury has questions for you. Who wants to go first? Oriana, you're the first.
Thank you for that excellent presentation. It was very clear. One question I had for you was, as you know the need, you've got a prototype developed, and so what is your thought about the business model that you will follow? So will you sell the sensors, provide a subscription model? What are your thoughts around that?
Thank you very much for the question. Yes, we have subscription-based payments through our app. So we have an app where the device relays data, and through that app, fish farmers are also able to access training videos, and they're also able to access other data in the fish farming industry that is very important for the current industry that they're venturing in. So they have also payments for the device. We have a one-off payment for the device, and we also have a payment plan that we're going to draft, because currently our device is going to offer $100, looking at all the equipment that we're going to put in place, and also for us to make a profit. So we understand for fish farmers in the country is a bit on the higher steep, so that's why we're also going to develop a payment plan for fish farmers to access our device. And also the subscription-based will have monthly subscriptions and also annual subscriptions, where fish farmers can pay for the services that we're going to be rendering on our app. We also have future plans to incorporate marketing for other fish farmers or other players in the aquaculture sector who are not fish farmers but do provide a service to the fish farmers that they'll be able to pay for and also access in the near future. Thank you.
Maybe one more question, and Lauren, you have a question.
Sorry about that. It's a really interesting technology, and thank you for a very clear presentation. Do you foresee that this technology could go outside of the aquaculture market and into other sectors of monitoring water quality and other areas of water management?
Yes, because the device is supported by the government, we actually recently had a cholera outbreak in the country where we lost almost 1,000 people. I'm sure you know so in Zambia we had a really bad cholera outbreak. So we were approached to render the service to but they have boreholes. So the initial thought was we could access some of the sensors that we utilize, for example, salinity and turbidity sensors. If we're able to insert them in certain boreholes, that will also be able to relay the data and ensure that the people in the community are able to see if at all their water is contaminated or not. But unfortunately, as I have stated, we're currently at prototype stage and we're not able to push our device onto the community yet.
Well, I think that was an awesome last pitch for today. So thanks a lot for that. For all of you in the audience, thanks a lot for being with us still at that stage. I see all the votes coming for the People Choice Award, so that's really, really, really cool. Keep voting. That was BioGreen Technology Limited. You hadn't heard them when we opened the vote, so maybe you want to probably put them into your top 3. I'll let you do that. In the meantime, I would propose to take back all the jury on stage and have a bit of an energizing question to all of you. I'll pick my first victim. The question is, if you had to just summarize the 10 pitches and the full session with just one word, what's that word? And my first victim is no other than our sponsor for that full event. So I think I will have to start. I don't see anyone on stage, but I will have to start with you, Namita.
Now you put me on the spot by telling me to summarize these wonderful sessions with one word. I would say resilience, kind of like the ability to take a personal struggle. In many cases, it was a personal struggle into something which is really a solution and a contribution. Anyway, that was more than one word. Sorry.
Yeah, but you explained the word. That's okay. It's within my rules. Wendy, you're the next I see in my list. So you're the next up. What's your word?
Thank you. Of course, I would say innovation. It's amazing to see the level of thoughtfulness of new technologies developed and also adaptation of technologies for the local market.
Innovation, resilience. The third word is going to come from Mina. Mina, what's your word?
I almost want to hyphenate my words so I can have like 2 words and kind of combine them. I was actually going to say creative courage, only because none of the 10 folks took the easy path for what they could have had in their life. And it took a lot of courage to just, out of the blue, go after solving some of these really incredible, complex problems. And so courage is the first one, but creativity.
It's okay. I take the hyphen.
Get it. You'll hyphenate it. There we go.
Lauren, you're next.
I was also going to do a hyphenation. I was going to say community driven. It seemed like they were really in tune with the problems of their specific communities, and their solutions are coming forth from their community need.
So resilience, innovation, creative courage, community driven. The 5th word is going to come from John Kill.
Clarity and thought throughness. I felt like everybody was really thought everything through. It's brilliant.
So which one do I pick? Thoughtfulness?
Clarity.
Clarity.
Everyone knows what they want.
Good. Next one, Yogita.
I would say passionate. There was a lot of passion and in the presentations.
Florian?
I would say hope. There is hope that we can solve the global water crisis with all these brilliant minds that presented to us. And this young generation that is being passionate about water and is trying to solve this issue makes me very hopeful that we tackle this. So thank you.
Oriana, you're still not on stage, but what's your word?
Inspiring. And truly inspirational, all of the work that's being done, thought, and the challenges that they're facing, and all of the creativity around solving these problems. So it is all very inspiring.
I hope I didn't miss anyone. but my words are resilience, innovation, creative courage, community-driven, clarity, passionate, hope, and inspiring. I think that was a good summary of what we just experienced over the past 2 hours. Maybe an open question to you in the room. Did you identify some patterns, and which makes you think that maybe you got a good temperature of what's happening out there, and where you might be able to help those entrepreneurs in the next stage of the acceleration if they get to that next stage? I see nodding heads, but who wants to comment on that?
Look, I go first, Antoine. I think I've already connected behind the scenes with one of the entrepreneurs, and I think it's great to see that there's this agility happening now, and I really hope that all of the entrepreneurs take the opportunity, reach out to us, engage in conversations. We're really here to help.
Yeah, Antoine, I was just going to comment that a couple of the entrepreneurs after the practice pit sessions took the time based on feedback to already reach out via LinkedIn and specifically ask questions on what they were thinking prior to the competition, which again is very smart and being resourceful. So looking forward to, figuring out how we can help whoever is chosen. And I believe everyone is a winner, no matter if they're picked in this accelerator or not.
So just to give you a little hint at what's happening with the People's Choice Award, right now we have 83 votes, and WaterWise is leading just in front of Omnitech and SkikTech. I'll let it open for a little while before we come to a conclusion on that one. In the meantime, maybe I'll go back to you, Namita, as for the first session, if you want to just summarize what you just experienced over the past, now 4 hours for you, but let's be specific and talk about the last 2 hours. And what are your immediate gut feeling?
Yeah, so like I said, when we summarized the last session, that this has been truly, truly inspiring. And I think some of the words that my colleagues mentioned sort of summarized it. So, so I had a global program in the World Bank, based in the World Bank, that's called Solutions for Youth Employment, right? So our focus is youth employment. And so, one of the things is, like, when we think about youth employment, we think about youth as beneficiaries of what we do in the World Bank, right? I mean, we're working on youth employment. But one thing that has struck me as we started working on this global program was that youth are not just beneficiaries, actually. And we saw proof of that today. They're actually allies. They're allies. They are leaders. They are innovators. They are solution creators to some of the most persistent problems. Water is one of them, right? It's something that touches everybody's life. And so what I saw today is that youth are not just sitting there waiting for the government or the World Bank or somebody to solve the challenges, the development challenges that we work on, but they're actually very active allies and partners in this space. So for me, that was the big takeaway. But what the other thing that I was just noticing was that, oh my gosh, when we think about youth, we think about, okay, maybe somebody, 19, 20, 21. But what we saw today was actually even younger than that. Huh? I mean, people still in school, and I just loved that. And the other thing was, one of the things, and my colleague Wendy is an expert on that, but one of the things we always struggle is to see enough women in being entrepreneurial in difficult sectors, like water is one of the most difficult sectors, I would imagine. But today we saw women. I would have hoped it was at least 50%, but it wasn't. But at least there were some young women there. And water is we noticed that there are not enough women entrepreneurs in sectors which particularly are STEM kind of sectors. Water is one of them. It's very male dominated. But today we heard a few inspiring young women. And for me, that was really fantastic. So I mean, I know I could go on, but just a big thank you to all the young entrepreneurs who spent their time, their energy, their passion, and shared it with us. And a big thank you to all of you, the CEOs who contributed. I mean, what you weren't getting anything. You were just here because you wanted to support these young people, and you supported it with your time, you supported them with your energy, your thoughtful comments. And also big thank you to my colleagues, Wendy, and I forgot to mention, this is not something that we did alone. We did it with our colleagues who are water experts. And so big thank you to Yogita, because she leads the work that the Water GP does, and my colleague Camilo, who was here in the last session. We've been sort of working on this together. And then finally, a big thank you to you, Antoine. And I'd love to ask you one question, if you don't mind. You put everybody on the spot, but I want to put you on the spot now. So you run a podcast, Antoine, and that's called Don't Waste Water. What prompted you to pick water? Like, you could have picked anything to be a podcast show runner, right? I mean, why water?
I'm a water engineer. So to me, that's the reason. I mean, that story, and now I'm going to get personal, but my parents met in the water engineer school I ended up attending. So somewhat, I never choose my path. That path chose me. So, so that's the thing. I just wanted to give you a silly statistic to just resonate with what you said. When I started the podcast, I wanted to have a 50-50 male-female guests, and I was blessed in season 1 of the podcast to have Oriana, to have Fadjer, who was with us in the previous session. And after 7 episodes, I think I started failing and deriving like really, really far from the 50-50, because it's simply impossible in that sector. And here's my crazy statistic. There are more women taxi drivers, there are more women priests than there are women working in the water sector. And what that means is not a matter of we should get to 50-50, that's super important. It is important, but what that really means is that we are not tapping into the full talent pool. And when we are trying to solve a problem of the magnitude of the water problem, and we are not tapping into the full water pool, well, we're not doing a service to the cause. And to that extent, even if we didn't have a 50-50 today, I'm super glad, because we were far above the statistics, which means that there's hope, because the curves are going to come together at some point, and at some point we will stop just noticing, just because we will be tapping into the full water pool. So sorry, that was my unexpected rant. In the meantime, a bit more people had time to vote for their favorites and People Choice Awards, and we had a spectacular shift in the results, because now the team leading is Omnitech. So and I would say that it's leading by an advance which is going to be hard to catch up. So I think it's safe to say that our People's Choice Award for today is Omnitech. Do we still have someone from Omnitech in the room? In which case, that would be the number 10 in that grid of faces. If not, which I would understand. Oh, I see someone from Omnitech in.
I think Mirana is here.
Mirana, yeah. So if you want to come on stage and to collect your well-deserved People's Choice Award, I have to tell you, it's not worth much. It doesn't prompt you with a place in the accelerator, but it's a good hint that what you said resonated with the people attending. Mirana, congratulations. You are our Session 2's People's Choice Award. It must be super emotional. Yeah. Such a prestigious prize. Do you have a comment?
Sorry, thank you. I was saying my friends to vote, so a big thanks for them, and thank you for all the judges who are there. You are really inspiring for me, and I hope we'll be on the accelerating program with you.
Well, those results will come a bit later. We have still 20 more teams to see. So Mirana, I will do you the same offer than I did to the winner of the People's Choice Award of the first session, which is it's not worth much more than the price, but I just put it there. If you're interested, you have a wild card to come on my podcast whenever you'd like to. So which I hope will get you some exposure to the type of profiles which can hopefully help you in the next step of your company. So it's a wild card. You can take it now. You can take it later, whenever you want. But I think it's well deserved. I mentioned we have 20 more teams. That's not today. That is tomorrow. If you've liked that session, and I'd like to thank here also the team which is behind the scenes and which made it happen, which made us move on screen, which was managing the chats everywhere. So thanks a lot for all the ones in the back. Don't miss the opportunity to see 20 more amazing entrepreneurs pitch tomorrow. depending where you are in the world, it's not the same time. So check the various links so you not miss it. It's roughly the same time than today. So that's a simple one. Thank you to the jury. Thank you to the organizers and to the World Bank. And I think the conclusion is see you tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Thank you.